Alright guys, welcome back again to more Trails of Cold Steel 4. We're now kicking off with a brand new chapter, I believe, after that, well, what I like to call a freaking movie from the previous video. Which was great actually, I actually like that. We even had some surprise revisits from characters that were supposedly dead, like Olivier and the rest. So we're gonna continue on from there guys, so if anything else, hope you all continue to enjoy. Thank you again for your love and support, and let's do this.
Despite being a new model of ship, the system you see here largely emulates that of the previous Courageous. Our operations manual only covers the bare minimum. Should you find anything lacking, you'll have to figure it out as you go.
Understood. I'll make sure to pass it on to everyone else.
In total, it spans a length of 92 Arj, a considerable step up from the previous 74 Arj class. However, because the ship is so much bigger, you'll need to carefully watch the speed and engine output.
Ha! So she's a wild one, eh? Sounds to me like this girl's gonna need a bit more taming than the last one.
This terminal should give you complete command over all the ship's facilities and fire control systems. It comes equipped with anti-hacking measures, specially developed by Professors Albert and Erica Russell themselves.
You mean Mom and Grandpa made it? We should have no problems then.
Incredible. This ship is state-of-the-art.
And that computer's one of the Epstein Foundation's next-generation models. Weren't they only just developed?
That's right. And its hull has the latest innovations in hydrodynamic engineering, courtesy of the Ruhr Institute of Technology. Plus, it seems to be outfitted with ZCF's newest next-gen orbital engine, too.
It only gets more and more unbelievable every time I hear it. Just how did you manage to construct a cutting-edge ship like this abroad in total secrecy, without anyone finding out?
As I stated earlier, there are a great deal of individuals who helped me make this happen. Such as Mr. Gwyn here, for instance.
The story here goes all the way back to right after the Civil War. Considering the way it ended, His Highness decided to approach me for some advice. He had me prepare this ship for him, all in anticipation of the day when the Crimson Wings would be torn from the sky.
So that's why.
Huh. I do remember His Highness mentioning something about you being his advisor.
Still, for the construction site to be located on the Kingdom of Libero's Valeria lakeshore, and on top of an old Ouroboros secret base to boot, talk about plot twist. You're referring to the research facility that the Faceless constructed during the incident in Libero. I heard that after the dust settled, it was handed over to the ZCF to manage. It does seem like Grandpa and the others used it as some kind of research. So not just Gwyn and Professor Schmidt pitched in, but Professor Russell and Her Majesty Alicia too? Whereas Cassius and the Crown Princess were none the wiser. If you want to fool your enemies, you gotta fool your friends first, huh? Classic. As for funding, in addition to His Highness Oliver, Gwyn and His Majesty Eugen also contributed from their personal holdings. I was gonna say belongings, but okay. But perhaps the most unexpected benefactors were Father and Marquis Ragnar. Indeed, quite a cunning play by those two. I imagine that keeping this from the Albareas was all in the name of avoiding the eye of the Intelligence Division. Yes, the same with the Cayennes, I'm sure. And so, your new set of wings were completed independently of both the government and the Viceland army. When I said we were preparing for our original wings to be torn away, I only expected they'd be commandeered by the government. To be perfectly frank, the thought that they would be physically torn apart never even crossed my mind. This isn't a laughing matter for the record. Indeed, just being alive is reason enough to give thanks to Adios, even at the cost of a left eye. Your Highness, I hate to ask, but what's the prognosis? A full recovery doesn't seem to be in the cards, unfortunately. But as a musician, I'm just grateful that my hands and ears made it through in one piece. I suppose I have them to thank for that, huh? So you owe your life to George's inner turmoil and the whims of that phantom thief, huh? You have an unbreakable spirit, Your Highness. Don't sell yourself short. Now we're getting a flashback sequence.
This is...
I underestimated them. Shara, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Ein. Looks like I messed up.
Goddess, please protect my daughter.
You have 15 seconds until the hull collapses. So before then, I will offer you one final wager. A gravitational barrier will appear on the bridge for exactly 24 seconds. Let's see if you can come back from this.
Ah!
Adios, help us!
You gotta stay calm.
Get down and brace for impact! Over there! Damn! The gravitational barrier!
It's not gonna hold.
Don't give up just yet!
Was I a moment too late? Nay, surely a flicker of hope yet remains. Can you still be plucked from the jaws of Gehenna? Show me just how far that luck of yours will take you, my dearest rival.
I still can't believe that our friend the Phantom Thief saved you all from the wreckage. Guess his parlor tricks are good for something, if that's what he used to spirit everyone away in one piece. No wonder they couldn't find so much as a single body. On top of that, he healed His Highness, the crew, and even the Viscount's grave wounds, didn't he? That's right, I was injured too, but somehow I made it out relatively unscathed. When the Viscount jumped in to block the hole in the barrier, I couldn't even use my arts to help him. I never felt so worthless in my entire life. I'm sorry, Laura. I dropped the ball when it mattered most. Like I've told you, Toval, you have nothing to apologize for. I'm just relieved you made it out alive. I'm sure Father shares my sentiment. Well, if you say so. I admit, I thought Viscount Arcee more or less invincible. I was stunned speechless to see him in that state. But for him, losing his left arm means he'll just swing twice as hard with his right. Power is but an extension of oneself, and what is a sword if not power wrought in steel? But ultimately, it's not the might of one's blade, but will and strength of spirit that decide the battle. The words of his lordship from the Infernal Castle 2 years ago. So ridiculously cool. Okay, Edgelord. Given who we're talking about, I expect he'll only emerge stronger from the experience. If that's the case, this could well become the most difficult trial we've faced yet. I'm inclined to agree. It'd be prudent for us to account for every contingency. There's also the promise we made with Lloyd, Estelle, and the others. True that. We can't let them best us. But what exactly is Rose up to? Sorry about my grandmother. She has a way of being evasive. I definitely was a little surprised by how sudden that all was. If it involves the rivalries, though, the only thing to do is go and check it out, right? The previous evening, after Reed and the others had boarded the Courageous 2 and been shown around, they began discussing the next steps they should take, considering that the war would begin in less than a week. In the middle of their conversation, however, they received a call from a rather unexpected party.
For those of you who have not yet had the honor, my name is Roselia Milstein. I am the elder of Erebonia's Hexen clan. Emma and Vita are my disciples in the magical arts. It is a pleasure to finally meet you, Prince Olivert, as well as the storied children of Crossbell and Liberl.
How do you do? Until this moment, I'd only heard of you through the rumor and legend. I've heard that you watched over the laying of Erebonia's foundation by Arnor. Is that really true? Well, actually, that was my predecessor. It was Emperor Hector and Prince Drykels, who I was best acquainted with 800 years ago. I cannot say the family resemblance is all that strong in you, but you definitely have a familiar fire in your heart. It's quite an honor to hear you say so. Heard about Roselia from Ren. 800 years old. Even seeing it with my own eyes, I can't quite believe it. I've heard a few things about those of you back there as well. Glowing tales from Ragnar and Zeit both. Wait, what? Ragnar? For real? We haven't seen Zeit since... We spoke shortly before they vanished. Even I have no idea of their whereabouts now, however. That's a shame. From the sound of it, Cassius doesn't know either. Ragnar the Ancient Dragon and Zeit the Divine Wolf. Two of the beasts entrusted with overseeing the Septarians.
Indeed. Beings sent forth by Adios. Much like the holy beast of Earth. Thomas Lysander, Second Dominion of the Gralsritter. Estelle. Lloyd. I've heard many a rumor about your respective endeavors. As for you, Your Highness, I don't think we've had the chance to talk since you were last at the main campus.
And to think that you, a history teacher, are a Dominion of the Gralsritter. I must say, I was quite frustrated I was unable to see what was really going on despite my ties to Kevin. I see, so I guess that means you heard about us from Kevin and Reese. And it sounds like you learned about us from Wazi, right? Right, we're having all of them operate outside of Erebonia at the present. They're out there resisting Ouroboros and their allies, working towards the Great Twilight in secret. The 1st, 4th, 5th, and 6th Anguis? It seems the enforcers who haven't come to Erebonia are also out on operations. Looks like the intelligence division's been active in other countries too. They're making some pretty serious moves. The Red Constellation's main regiment and the War God too. So Uncle Sigmund is finally on the move. Yes, Arios and Rizia are responding to their actions. It's the same with Noel, Chief, Sergei, and Dudley, isn't it? I hope they're all okay. To be honest, things are looking fairly grim. So much so that PayPal has begun to act on its own and is cooperating with Operation Mil Mirage. I suspected as much. Now is surely not the time for them to be going off on their own like this. Even during the Night Touch affair 200 years ago, the PayPal Guard managed to make a nuisance of themselves. For the time being, though, let us focus on the main issue at hand, the rivalry of the Seven. I've been closely monitoring the disturbance in the Spirit Veins, and there has been a surprising development. As soon as the commencement date for the Operation Jormungand and Mil Mirage was announced, activity in the Spirit Veins reached a fevered peak. Though the reason why is still unclear. It seems the announcement itself is connected to the spread of the disturbance. What? What, you mean the Spirit Veins reacted to today's events? The boss moving out might be related too. Yes, as well as my father, the Steel Maiden, and the others. This probably involves Mother and Sharon too. And Mariabelle. She seems to be working with RF somehow. There are likely many causes, but we now have a different grave situation on our hands. Meanwhile, Spirit Veins across the entire continent have begun activating. It's no longer limited to the Empire. Wait, what the hell? The disturbance was initially gradual ripple outward from the Empire, but it seems to be matching the coming war in its scope. Right, that's the Great Twilight at work. They needed a full swing for the rivalries to even be possible. I imagine even now they're preparing for the ultimate reformation of the Great One. If only there was something we could do.
The solution is simple. Use this ship to whatever end you see fit.
Alright, be honest guys, how many times do you snicker every time you do that nod? It just seems too in sync for most of them.
The rivalry of the Seven appears to be the true objective behind this plan of the Chancellor and the Gnomes. That much we can safely assume. And yet, it is this very same objective that may be our sole hope in preventing the disaster to come.
You for real here? It's true that ever since this curse was unleashed, it's felt as though everything's being guided by some unseen force. With that in mind, it'd be near impossible to try and prevent the war altogether.
That's probably why Dad and Chloe opted for Operation Mil Mirage instead. But while we're on it, what exactly is this curse anyway?
We know full well the sort of strife a Septarian can cause. We saw so ourselves during the incident in Liberl a few years back. There, we had to come face to face with the same issues our ancestors contended with 1,200 years ago.
It was the same for us. We fought back against a centuries-long plan to artificially recreate a Septarian, one that had been lost due to mankind's own hubris.
Yeah, I almost made a really big mistake back then. But then Lloyd and the others came and made everything all right again.
In Liberl, a ring that could grant any heart's desire, and in Crossbell, a tree that could rewrite destiny itself. Each one a blessing, yet each one a curse. But in spite of that, Estelle, Lloyd, and everyone else faced them head-on. They didn't lose heart even once.
Therefore, discovering the truth is your responsibility now. It's not something Estelle, or Lloyd, or even the rest of us can accomplish. Only you, Class 7 of Thor's Military Academy.
The Empire's facing threats both on its surface and behind the scenes. And you're no strangers to kicking tail on either of those fronts. I can't think of a more tenacious bunch out there. The way I see it, you guys are the only ones who can do this.
It's up to us then.
Naturally, the Courageous Two has its own missions to see to. We must travel around the country helping people and gathering allies. Even so, I have no doubt that we can still serve as your wings of passage. More so with the Merkaba out of commission. After all, the difference in size should be more than enough to fit, say, 2 Divine Knights and 4 Panzer Soldats?
Olivert.
You've put so much thought into this. We appreciate it.
Then Thor's Military Academy's Class 7 would be honored to take you up on that offer, Your Highness. We'll do everything we can to assist you in your efforts as fellow members of the Radiant Wings.
We'll help too. It's only fair after all you've done for the branch campus students.
If you ever need someone to make that ship purr, I'm your gal.
Fabulous! Delighted to have you. You see, we've been rather lacking in the crew department.
Well, I sure as hell ain't sitting this one out. What kind of instructor would I be otherwise?
Count me in too. I mean, we're finally all back together again.
Like we said, we're gonna be off doing our own thing, but we'll still be helping out.
Same with us. We'll be catching a ride on the Bobcat too after we're done here.
Now that you mention it, you did both say you'd be working separately.
Yeah, the plan is to cover Eastern Erebonia, North Ambria, and Jirai.
You mentioned getting in touch with HQ in Le Mans. Guess that means you guys are heading out too, huh, Shara?
We are, though we won't be leaving the ship until tomorrow.
Sarah, Fee, you guys got things covered here, yeah?
Of course. When have we ever let you down?
Call us if you need anything, okay? I guess this is goodbye for now then, huh?
Yeah, we've got some stuff to take care of back in Crossbow.
Don't worry. We'll be seeing each other again before you know it. In the meantime, let's give this our all.
Yeah! We got this, Yuna! Right!
Seems like we'll be able to divide things up by region then. You should be able to just leave everything with the Merkaba on Unit 8 up to Rosine Gaius. I'll be arranging for its repairs at a nearby location. I really am in your debt, Thomas. You too, Rosine. Thank you. No worries. Please look after everyone. It'll not be easy, but our shred of hope has come into view. The time has come for me to undergo my final undertaking. Grandmother? What do you mean, final undertaking? Listen well, children of Class 7. As noted, the spirit veins throughout the land are activating, and they are disordered, as they've never been before. The same can be said for the shrines, the stages for the rivalries. This includes the Luna Shrine, the only shrine we witches have overseen since ancient times. The Luna Shrine? Isn't that close to Milsanti? Yes, it's a location of the reflecting pool, and generation after generation of wandering witches have watched over it. The pool reflects the genuine truth, and it's believed to be connected to the origin of the Black Records. I expect to hear those mentioned here. Yes, I myself was just told about it the other day. I suggest anyone interested in the real truth behind the curse to come. I swear in my true name I shall provide the answers to your doubts, rest assured. To do so, however, I will require Class 7 to undergo a trial of sorts. You'll need to come along as well, Celine. Oh, and fair warning, your human form will be required for this. Huh? Grandmother? We thought the Luna Shrine was a dead end, but there was more to it after all. This would be a trial for the entirety of Class 7. I'm reminded of our adventures in the old schoolhouse 2 years ago. Ah, you mean where everyone first met Valimar? Yeah, and then that crazy go-nuts corridor appeared at the end. Reverie Corridor. Knowing what we know now, I think that place is yet another sort of shrine. Now, I don't know what my grandmother's intentions are, but we should prepare ourselves for anything. For crying out loud, why am I? I'm not even part of Class 7. Just admit it already, Cillian. You're one of us, whether you like it or not. This would be the first time we've seen your human form since the Black Workshop, huh? To gaze upon both Cillian's lovely figure and the reflecting pool in the same day. What fortuitous timing. Once everyone's done their little tour around the Courageous 2, we can head for Lake Gaia. If I'd be wise to land out in the water, to put a little distance between ourselves and Milsanti. Learning to switch between the sound navigation optical camouflage modes is going to be critical here. Understood. Things are starting to heat up. Next, our plan is to head ashore, with each group making their approach from the target locations. Fortunately, Estelle, Lord, and the others are already a step ahead of us gathering intel. I'm sure they'll have a hit or something useful by the time you get out. We'll be expecting good news, guys. But seriously though, take care of yourselves out there. Right, that goes for you too. It means so much to know you've got our backs. Class 7, it's time to make sure your preparations are all set. We'll need every pair of hands we can get around the ship, so those of you in a position to pitch in, please do so. Absolutely, Instructor. Makes sense. Even with everyone from the branch campus here, this is a pretty huge ship. Right, it's probably best to make one more round just to be sure. Okay, Act 3, Seekers of the Dawn. The Courageous 2 is a newly constructed ship, but something about it feels nostalgic. Maybe I'll do one final sweep around the floor myself prior to departure. Right, I need to find everyone going ashore and wish them luck again. Each floor has an elevator that you can use to move to the other floors. You can select floors that you previously visited via the quick travel menu. Okay. 4 floors, alright. Alright, we finally got control again. Oh my goodness, finally. We had like a hell of a long movie in the previous video and I enjoyed the hell out of that. Alright, what we got going on for us? Okay, whoo boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Let's talk to these people here. Oliver, Charizard, I know I'm repeating myself, but I'm so glad you're both okay. Both of you here, together, nothing can make me happier right now. Thanks, Alfin. I know I put you through hell. I'm sorry that I haven't been in touch. Honestly, Your Highness, I should have informed you before anyone. That was my failing. Forgive me. No, don't be silly. With that wound, my brother wasn't going anywhere for a while, right? Thank you so much for helping with his recovery. Your Highness, you honor me with your oh man, this word. Magnanimity. There you go. God. Truly. I have to say though, getting Shara to feed me is definitely a memory I'll treasure forever. Although she did give me one legendary purple nurple when I suggested she dish the spoon and use her mouth instead. Goodness. So help me, Adios. Olivier, you're about 3 seconds away from finding out what life is like with 0 eyes. I wouldn't have guessed it, but those two are much more intimate than I expected. No, that makes sense actually. I remember her from Trails in the Sky. Well, well, look who it is. Why, hello there, Ian. Looks like you're already finding your way around the place. Yeah, it really is an incredible ship. This isn't the first time we met, but I'd like to reintroduce myself nonetheless. I'm Reen Schwarzer. Good to meet you, Charizard. The pleasure's all mine. I've been hearing a lot about you. It sounds like you've been to Gehenna and back more times than one, and you're not done yet, it would seem. Adversity seems to be the order of the day for those who call Erebonia home, but at the very least it's made us a tough people. But no matter where you're from, I'm glad to be allies just the same with Estelle, Agate, and now you. You bet. I've got your back. We've been preparing for the worst for a long time now. And just between you and me, as the Silver Streak, I really don't want to be outdone by the Purple Lightning. Ah. Come to think of it, you've been pretty focused on that for a while now, haven't you? Well, yeah. Despite us being the same age, she was the youngest bracer ever to reach A rank when she did. She's always had a reputation as a force to be reckoned with. Even Cassius relied on her. It did make me a little jealous, I have to say. You're both so fantastic, though. I really admire you, Shara. You know, even though Sarah is my former instructor, we have a close relationship as friends now. I can believe it. Once I came to Erebonia and the two of us actually met, we immediately hit it off. We both like drinking, and our overall situations are fairly similar too in some ways. Your interest in those of the masculine persuasion couldn't be any more different though. Ah, that's right, she's got a thing for silver foxes, huh? Though I hear the winds of change are starting to blow across a particular plane. Wait, I don't recall telling you about any of this. Shirts are so gorgeous, but she has a really cute side too. Don't worry, you two, I'll sort this out like a proper sister should. Or maybe it's best to just leave it to them. They're adults after all. But they won't. At any rate, it seems like Cedric is drifting further and further astray. I'm starting to fear that maybe we really can't go back to how things were. Your Highness. Come on, that can't be true.
I'm just as glad as you to see him alive again. But feelings such as that are only for the weak. We're ending this world and creating a new order in its place. And an undertaking this great leaves me no room for weakness.
Those words were proof that he's pushing himself too far. His infatuation with the Chancellor Osborne is pretty clear, but I honestly doubt his resolve as one of the Ironbloods is really so firm. Or as a Divine Knight Awakener, for that matter. I'm inclined to agree. Oh, Oliver, you silly fool. All we can ever do as people is work with the opportunities in front of us and never give up hope. Besides, I still need to meet him properly, just as I did the princess. He is royalty after all. If it's a family meeting greet you're after, Shara, you need only ask. Oh yes, there's mother and father too if he's recovered. Let's take it down a notch, shall we? Alright. Perfect. I'll talk to Shara later. I'm pretty sure that's a Vantage Master thing. Are we good talking to anyone? Alright, so let me talk to Shara now then. I don't know what that star entails, but we'll find out right now. Huh? What's that? I see that curious glint in your eye. This here is our true trump card. It's what makes ultra long distance communication with the Arcus 2 possible. It's an artifact known as the Sonorous Seashell. Mr. Debaucherous Prince snuck it in. Wow, incredible. It's a delightful little device I discovered in some ruins on a visit with the Bracer Guild. That was about, 10 years ago now. It facilitates ultra long distance communications in a snap and is even able to bypass orbital comm restrictions of all shapes and sizes. It's currently in use as a repeater router per Toval's suggestion. It's also linked to your Arcuses via the Round of 7 app the Foundation made for me. Its capabilities are almost mind-boggling. And if the ship control tower is set up with this then we'd have flawless connections with everyone involved with the Radiant Wings. As someone who will be helping with the operations, I have to say I find it hard to believe its capabilities are even possible. I'm with you there. I guess artifacts don't need to be deadly to be powerful. Speaking of that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought the Septine Church collected all artifacts that are still functional. About that. After a bit of discussion with the Growlsritter, we managed to come to an agreement of sorts. Our possession and usage has received tacit approval on the condition that we abide by a number of itty-bitty rules. Oh, Oliver. So fortunate are we that a man of his eloquence and skills walks upon this earth. I mean, hey, whatever advantage we can take care of, right? Wait, anything here? Hold on. Can I please go in the thing? There's a new model orbital computer. It doesn't seem to be displaying anything of note at the moment. Oh. This might prove useful later. For now, though, we can leave it be. Agreed. Agreed. Please and thank you. Alright, what's going on here? Oh, Instructor Reen. Ah, Reen, taking a tour of the ship. It's been some time, hasn't it? About 2 years already, if I'm not mistaken? Right, I think the last time we saw each other was the Board of Directors meeting at the main campus. I was sorry to hear about what happened to the 7th Division, but I'm glad to see you're safe. Yes, no doubt thanks to the guidance of Adios. I admit it was difficult to watch the 7th get disbanded, but it ended up working to my advantage. Thanks to that, I was able to slip away and rendezvous with the elders in time to help with the creation of the Courageous 2. You can never really tell just what your life's current will sweep you next, huh? That aside, have you not been able to contact Father and the others either? I'm going to be contacting him in Orier in a short while. Before I do though, I'd like to get in touch with Uncle Zex and Nightheart. I see. No doubt they're struggling with their positions, General Craig included. So I've heard, but they're still Imperial soldiers. That hasn't changed. Once Operation Jormungand begins, they'll most likely be deployed as the main force in the rear guard. And if they are, even Operation Mil Mirage is sure to face stern opposition. Right, if Uncle Zek's stratagems are combined with General Craig's unmatched power, then even the valorous Le Guin and tactical genius Cassius could be outmatched, yeah. The conflict might already be impossible to stop in any official capacity, but I'll do what I can behind the scenes. If you could somehow buy some time on the official front, you would have my deepest gratitude, Lieutenant Colonel. Instructor. But of course. That reminds me, I'm many months late in saying so, but I wanted to thank you for mentoring my brother. I'd like to ask you to continue providing him with guidance so that he may one day grow into a strong, independent man. Hey, Mueller. In my book, Kurt's already there. But I hear you. As his instructor, it's my responsibility to continue leading him as best I can. I'm in your debt, Reen. Perhaps I'll go find a suitable hole to go crawl in and die of embarrassment now. I mean, yeah, you could. You could. Wait. Oh, it's a vending machine. That was a shop. Second floor. This floor contains exits from the ship or to the deck. Seems they've got a cafeteria, a sick bay, a reference room, and some stores here too. Alright. The second floor comprises the shop of a multi-purpose sector here. You can find various stores as well as exits to both the front and rear decks. Various written materials can be accessed in the reference room, including the black records which have been transferred over from the Merkaba. Well, on that note, guys, I'm going to end it here for today. I want to thank you all for watching. When we come back, we're going to end up talking to everyone here because, yep, just like before, it's going to be like that meeting. So once we're done with that, we're going to continue on taking care of some, gear that I need to upgrade and buy and all that. And once we're done with that, story time. So after all that, guys, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.